from my grocery shopping. Ramadan Mubarak to everyone. I had to get last minute shopping. So Ramadan Mubarak to everyone celebrating. But my city brothers were struggling, bro. They were struggling. I mean, my brother Vader, big up my brother Vader. I'll see him tomorrow in American Waffle. But my brother I've never seen Vader so cornered and not able to give real answers. Hamza's being Hamza, obviously. Patrick is being Patrick. So I'm not really surprised by how they articulate themselves. I just know them for being that. But I felt bad for Vader. I've listened to you guys. How long have you been live, Terry? An hour and 20 minutes. Let's say you do your 20-minute intro. So the panel's been on for an hour. I have not heard anything about why De Bruyne was struggling, why Haaland was struggling, why the midfield looked bad. There's so many tactical issues that this team had, and zero of these issues have been addressed. They're sitting here flip-flopping about a penalty, which, by the way, let me tell you something. 11 years ago, Sir Alex lost his last Champions League campaign to a high boot into the chest of Arbeloa from Luis Nani when he got a red card. And that wasn't even a challenge. He was just trying to receive the ball. And he got a red for that. 11 years later, people were saying the guy ran into his studs. Well, give me a time machine so I can go back to 2013 where we got that red card, because maybe, if we beat Madrid, we could have potentially won another Champions League. So the fact that you guys are sitting here saying he went with his chest to his studs instead of stud to chest is probably the most shameless thing I've ever heard. Terry, there used to be a joke in Egypt growing up. When you slap someone, they'd be like, yeah, he touched my hand with his cheek. So you could say, like, oh, like, I didn't slap him. He just put his face on my hand.
Yeah.
He ran into my boot.
At school once, I said to my head teacher, I didn't punch Jason. Jason headbutted my hand.
He ran into my hand. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It's actually insane that they're saying this. Because any challenge on the pitch, whether you're trying to win the ball or tackle, the two things that are always taken into consideration is if you're in control and if you're endangering the opponent. Anytime you go studs up, especially with a high boot, you're at risk of endangering your opponent. So whether you win the ball or not, you have put the player at risk. So for that, you need to be penalized. Whether it's a foul, a yellow, or a red, obviously that's a little bit subjective because it depends on how bad it is. Like a few years ago when Edison got a red for high booting Mane in the face, how different was it? It was pretty similar. So
Stuffy, that's why I said at most there was a yellow and a penalty.
It has to be, bro. Even if he doesn't give him a yellow because he wasn't intending, it's 100% a penalty.
I'm just reading what the professionals have said. This is not a penalty. Jamie Carragher's come out there. Yeah.
Said so now you rate Jamie Carragher.
Jamie who?
He's the
Hamza mute. Jamie Carragher.
Ex-player, he says, I understand why this was not given as a penalty. He got the ball, but you know what? Doc was naive. It wasn't a penalty. The other thing you said about Kevin De Bruyne being poor. Kevin De Bruyne has assisted in 7 goals.
I don't care about that. I heard you say that already. You already said that.
One second.
You already spoke.
Kevin De Bruyne has assisted in 7 goals against Liverpool. Do you know only the one player that's ever done it more than him?
No one answered more.
Do you know any other player who's had more assists than him?
No one cares. No one cares.
You don't know. Exactly. You don't know. Okay. Ryan Giggs, who played here for 15 years.
No one cares.
Why are we talking about Giggs? I don't care about Giggs.
One more assist. Let me tell you another statistic. You said Kevin De Bruyne had a poor game. Kevin De Bruyne, not only Andy Cole and Ryan Giggs have assisted or scored against Liverpool, Kevin De Bruyne has scored 4 and has had 7 assists. Ryan Giggs had 12.
How many of them were today?
12.
How many of them were today?
22 years.
How many of them were today?
Have some shame when you come here.
I have some shame. You are talking to me. You know what, Hamza? You know what you taught me today? Hamza, let me tell you.
Really, most assists compared to your guy.
Hamza, wallah, you gotta let me speak, Hamza. You've been here for an hour. You gotta let me speak. Let me speak. No, these are facts that are not related. If I tell you right now a fact that water is wet, it has nothing to do with this stream that we're having right now. You're talking to me about assists that happen over the years. You're not talking about right now. You're telling me facts that are useless, though.
He assisted today.
Hamza, just let me speak, please. Just let me speak. Was it the corner? Was it the corner?
Yeah, a corner. He assisted.
Okay.
Is that a clever corner? When Trent played that corner,
I think it was a good corner. Yes, it was a good corner. Wallah, you gotta let me speak, Hamza.
Hamza, please let him talk.
Let me speak. What I'm talking about De Bruyne is not because I'm talking about just GA. Everyone knows me here. I did the same thing yesterday for the United game where I told Terry I don't use GA to blind me of the performances that I see on the pitch. De Bruyne, 2 games in a row, has looked poor. He looked poor against United, and he looked poor today against Liverpool. And if you are trying to pretend that he is not looking bad and your midfield is not looking as good as it was years ago, then you're just lying to yourself because you're bringing up stats that are not related to today's game. Obviously, I'm not saying De Bruyne has always been a shit player. That's not what anyone's saying. We're talking about this current team right now. Your midfield has been struggling. De Bruyne struggled against United, and he struggled today against Liverpool. Liverpool, who don't have a good system of play like you guys do, because they're not as a robotic team as you, they were able today to go into the occasion and clog up that midfield. McAllister and Endo clogged up that midfield so much that you guys couldn't get control of the game. What is the proof, Hamza? That he brought on Kovacic in the second half. Why does he bring on Kovacic? Kovacic is not a game changer, and Kovacic is not a guy that scores late for you. But what does Kovacic do? Kovacic controls games. He had to bring on a controller to regain a little bit of that midfield, because he knew Liverpool, especially in the beginning of that second half, were all over you guys. That is a fact, Hamza. I don't need statistics to back that. I don't need anything. Everyone watch the game. Everyone can see. I can watch a game and tell you why the substitutions are being made. If that wasn't a fact, then he would have never brought on Kovacic. That's number one. Number two, Hamza. Number two, Haaland. I said it last game. I hated Amrabat at Casemiro because they gave him an undeserved goal. The guy ghosted for 90 minutes against Varane and Evans and got a goal because Amrabat passed him the ball. Today, the same thing. He did it again. Terry asked you about him earlier, and he said he won us the treble. Once again, it has nothing to do with these games, because the treble is not going to bail him. Didn't bail him out last game. Didn't bail him out today, and it won't bail you out when Arsenal come there, because the two best defensive teams right now are Liverpool and Arsenal. They didn't even play Konate. It was Kwanzaa, a 19 or a 20-year-old. I don't know how he is. He's a young player. He was not involved in the game. The reason he doesn't have a lot of touches is because you guys couldn't create for him. Why couldn't you create for him? Because your midfield is struggling. The reason why my brother up here, what's his name? Dayo, first time meeting you, big up yourself. The reason why he's talking with chest, even though I think he's a little bit overboard, and that's his right, he wants to support his team. The reason he's talking with chest is because he sees that you guys are struggling game in, game out with your midfield. And I said this, by the way, Hamza, to make fun of my team. And Terry, you'll remember this. I said on Straight Facts. I said, wait for City to pull up to United, and they're going to finally have a good game, because we're the only team that allows our opponent to have the ball too much and create too many chances. You had one goal against Brentford, one goal against Chelsea, one goal against, who did you guys play right before us? There was a game that you won 1-0. So you went
Brentford.
3 games.
Brentford. No, that was 3-1.
Bournemouth, sorry. Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Brentford, Bournemouth, Chelsea, 1 goal each. You go to United, Erik ten Hag, another sackable offensive. Only one who made him look good. That's beyond the point. And then you go again to Liverpool, who have a lot of injuries, and you manage to only score 1 goal of a set piece. Hamza, these are all facts that tell you that you are not the same team as the treble team. You're not the same team as what you used to be. If you don't want to be worried, Hamza, that is fine with me, because I don't even want you to win the league. I want you to delude yourself to think that your team can absolutely smash everyone in the next 10 games and win the league.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Staffy, 100%. In the sense of City are still one of the best teams in the world without a shadow of a doubt. And I've been saying it for weeks, right? And sometimes I ask questions and I'm waiting for replies on this, as opposed to always talking, which I do a lot on my own channel, of course. This City team leaks opportunities. Now, it's just the way our high line plays. Your line's at the same height. Look at the stats as it was last year. Is that you're losing control in the midfield, so the high line is being exposed. You're not as good as you were last year. And some of that is down to poor purchases in the summer. And you could argue it's a number of things. It could just be a little bit of appetite is gone, as an example, from players after winning a treble, which players that have done it and then years later speak about it, say, sometimes when you win so much, you can become a little bloated and a bit complacent. And I think the way V and you, Hamza, both said this on a stream about a week ago. We won't concede opportunities against the better teams. We only do it with United and Copenhagen because we don't respect you and we open up. And I just think this is genuinely is delusion. We're not saying you're a bad team. We are nitpicking because you and Arsenal, Liverpool are the best in England. You're in a title race, but it's going to be those little nitpicks which you can decide who wins and who loses the Premier League. And we're here to talk about it. And I will agree with Staffy. You City fans, I've never seen it done before in this show ever. The volume of deflection at every question about Haaland, about KDB, about your players. The fact that you guys sat here and said, we just don't like to spend too much money. That's why, it's normally we don't spend too much money and we buy lesser players and it normally works. It's just absolute nonsense. You bought the first £100 million player. It's crazy to me. So I totally hear. And Hamza, have you got anything to say to what Staffy has said?
I think it's delusional. This is the problem about Premier League. I'll tell you one thing about something that you said, hungry, that we've lost the hunger. It's shameful when I've said one thing that I'm so amazed by Pep. Like, how do you keep that motivation? I've seen Man United, they win the treble in the first year. Yeah, because you're motivated to win. You don't do it in your third year. You should not be motivated. That disproves your argument. The fact that they win titles 3 in a row. But when
we
we
won 2 leagues after the treble.
one second.
But you lied. We won the league twice after we won the treble. Why would you lie?
Treble in your first season. After that, you started faltering. City only get stronger. They deliver on big occasions.
That's a fallacy.
When big
That's
moments,
right
they deliver it. How can I see when Pep's delivering a treble in his third season? The same group of players who are there for 3 years are winning. They're getting better. They're just getting better. Okay, they've lost players. You're right. They've lost players who are crucial. And the biggest mistake, we could have recruited that extra bit. That if you lose, you're losing someone like Gandowan, you get Barella. You go to Inter Milan, they've reached the Champions League, you go and get their guy. I understand that, Terry. But how shameful of the Premier League. How shameful that it's their 4th season. Their 4th season. They're chasing the guys who are hungry. Some of them have not won the league for 20 years. Their football club is probably dismantled. They've changed stadium. Kids have grown up, gone to uni. Some have started work. I've seen their football club never won the league. They're confused. And they only
hang on a minute. Hamza, I do love you, bro. Hamza. I love you, bro, but I'm going to stop you. None of that has got anything to do with why are these things happening to you right now. No. You're just deflecting. Answer the question. Yes. Let's just say you're right. Let's just agree to you're just as hungry. You're just as good. You're just as amazing. Why are you leaking so many opportunities? Let me answer my question. Why are you leaking so many opportunities in multiple games? And why is your midfield struggling to control games? Tell us why that is.
Yeah, that's a good question. And today, I believe...
I said like an hour ago.
I know, one second. Pep got it wrong in one thing, because I predicted this formation.